So, good afternoon. Today is Monday. It's a beautiful Monday. And while I am trying to focus or do some things, I took the time out because I'm like, you know what? I want to involve myself in everything that is a potential or possibility for me. I don't want to shun anything away. So while I have a computer, internet, and life, this is what I want to contribute. This is how I want to contribute to my success. Hold on. You never want I just want to leave. Nothing for me. I just want to leave. You never want to free. I just want to leave. All right. So anyway, it's not gonna stay, but whatever. So all right. So first and foremost on the list, want to talk about Diddy. Everybody's talking about Diddy. In fact, I am so tired of talking about or hearing about or seeing Puff Daddy. I am. Another thing that I am tired of seeing, y'all, and don't hate me for this, Chakra Boys. All right, Chakra Boys, or Chakra Boys, however you want to say his name, is an Instagrammer, and he is really, really, really gung ho about saving Congo or about the efforts with the Congolese people and aiding in their suffrage, or not aiding in their suffrage, but with it, like trying to, I guess, get people to focus more on what's happening in Congo. And one of the things that I try to express about that is this: we got a lot of shit happening here in America. There's a genocide here in the United States of America, but we are so blinded by it. This is where the programming and the indoctrination tools manifest, and this is what the result of those manifestations are. This is where we at with it, when people are living in America black and don't understand what's going on in America as it pertains to us black folk. All right, so here we go. Thought I'd just power it up a little bit because it looked like it was a little too low. What y'all think? I don't know. But I'll get it together one day. Um, but anyway, one of the you have mixed. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm paying attention to my dog, trying to make sure she's not having one of those fits because I'm ignoring her. Hey, what are you doing? You want to come say hello? Come on, come say hello. Come say hello, Tiki Tiki. Come on, say hello, Shinky. Say hi. Say hello, Shinky. Say hello. Can we say hello? Yeah, she baby. Is she Shinky girl? Is she Shinky girl? Yeah. Yeah. Is she Shinky baby? Don't lick me in my face. Now you know I don't like that. All right. Go finish doing what you was doing. No? She's so spoiled, y'all. She a lap dog. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, no. All right, come on. Because I can't make it. I can't make it, mommy. All right, sit down. Sit down. Good girl. You should good mama. All right, so anyway, people are fascinated with what's happening to Diddy. And let me just say this: the downfall of any man or woman is really, really, really a sad thing to see. But I just want to tell y'all, when you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. The game that R. Kelly, even Bill Cosby to a certain extent, but for this segment, I'm gonna mesh Bill Cosby in there with R. Kelly, Puff Daddy, and anybody else who's playing those games. Listen, that's for white folks. This is not a world where you reign supreme in. You don't have those interlocking connections with the state senator, the governor, the judges, or anything like that. And so when they want to come for you, they will. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Next time, think about what it is that you're engaging in. when you are thinking about playing in the field of um, when you think about playing with danger. You know what I mean? When you go as far as to drug people and hold them, you know, and hold them against their will, drug them, like I said, rape them, and then have other people come in and abuse these drug individuals too. That's sinister to me. And we don't know what all is on the camera footage that they saw. We don't know who all is on the camera footage that we saw. One of the things I want to talk about though is all these CEOs that's stepping down. Okay, I just told y'all. Well, I did mention it on a previous recording, but I deleted it. But what I was saying was that these people are associated with one another, because we're talking about Puff Daddy and we're talking about his power and the power that he has. All right. And so a lot of people are under the impression, like, what kind of power that Puff Daddy have? Well, I'll tell you what kind of power he has. If I'm a billionaire and I host parties and Bill Gates and all of the rest of them come to my parties, if not Bill Gates, his son, his daughter, whoever, I don't care, somebody, politicians, people, period, they come to the party, right? And they have them a grand old time. It's not the parties though, guys. It's what happens after the parties. It's the party after the party that people are, you know, that's in question in here. And I think that the CEOs stepping down might have something to do with what they find or what they have found on these videos, on a video footage that they found that they confiscated from his home. All right, that's just me. It could be a bigger plot of things. It could be that plus something political or that plus, but it's something to pay attention to. I'm not saying that that's definitely what's happening. I'm just saying that that could be something that's happening, but there are a host of CEOs that just resign from their positions. That is not something that is normal. That's not something that usually happens often. That's not something that we just seem to see, because this is what people do over time. Something is happening. Something has occurred that we are not aware of, and we need to be paying attention to. Hence, that's the distraction. Okay, this Puff Daddy shit is nothing but a distraction from something far more sinister. But back to the Congolese people. All right, because this is something that's near and dear to my heart. The day that we can stop having conversations about Javion McGee's and Trayvon Martin's, the day that we can stop adding names to this list. I don't give a damn if it's police murdering Black people or regular civilians murdering Black people. Like the little baby, the little 6-year-old boy who was in Georgia, who went to go play with some white friends, and he didn't come back only to be found in a pond. We want to say that that was an 11-year-old kid and he didn't know any better and all this kind of stuff, but you don't know how people are raised these days. A racist didn't just wake up racist. They were born clean and then they were showed how to be. And so by the time they're 11 years old, they're equipped with enough knowledge to carry out. The children, you give them, it's like planting a seed. And then the seed just grows wildly. That's the mind of a child. You don't have to navigate the thought or nourish it too much in order for it to grow into something that that child has already imagined it would be in their minds. So what I'm saying is, just because he was, it's in Georgia. Shit, that's all I got to say about that. I don't have to say too much about it. All right. Now, but like I said, the moment we can stop having these Javion McGee's happen will be the moment that we can worry about Congo and every other country that needs. So this is the thing, though. I want to ask, what is that going to do? You're taking a very powerless group of people and you're asking them to give attention or band in power to stop something from happening somewhere else. We need to be banding in power developing that power and banding, coming together in it to take care of things here. And it might seem harsh because people don't understand when you're talking because they have their own, imaginations running amok in their minds. But what I'm saying is, financially, if I am broke, how can I help my friend feed her children or his kids or my cousin if they don't have any money either? Like, I have to be making the money in order to bless. And so it's the same thing. It's just different. It's not with money, it's with power. We have to gain power here in America before we can go and try to enforce that people be treated just and right in other worlds, in other countries. I mean, we can't do that if we don't have it together here. So while Chakra Boris is very, 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 very attentive and intentional, in his delivery, like under the puff that, I mean, everywhere I go, he says, meanwhile, there's a genocide in Congo. And I'm just like, well, what are you doing to stop the slaughter of Black people here? There's more than one way that we're being killed. We're being killed with the medicine. We're being killed with poverty. We're being killed with education. We're being killed physically in our homes, in the streets, at parties. There's another young man whose name I couldn't find. I searched the internet all morning to try and find his name. The man who they found dead in the backyard. He went to a party. He was the only Black person at this party. And they found him dead in the backyard. 3 days later, the friends who went to this party posted pictures, but they never posted rest in peace to Hamilton or, just out of respect and courtesy. They just they didn't not post, they posted. But we pretty much don't hear anything about that young man anymore or what happened to him. You know what I mean? And I, for one, would like to know what happened, what was his name and what happened. But the Google search engine won't go to anything relatively close or remote to. The only thing I keep getting when I put in young Black male found dead in the backyard after attending a party is something that happened in Kansas City when 3 people, from what it's saying, that they went to watch a Chiefs game and these people were frozen. They were murdered, I guess, and found frozen to death. I have no idea. I didn't even click on it. It was just stuff that I was reading while I was scrolling, all right? But so once we figure out how to stop what's happening here with everything that I just mentioned, because we don't need a project, we don't need a memorandum of leadership council agreement to be written. That's what Project 2025 is, in case y'all don't know. That's what it is. One day, on my YouTube channel, podcast, whatever you want to call it, I will read it because a lot of people aren't taking the time to find out what it is. They're not taking the time to read it, and so we'll just read it and break down what we think the meaning is, down to the very last word. If I have to break it down, that's what I'm gonna do. So anyway, I just have a very, 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 very strong stance in that. But anyway, he posted that under the post about Puff Daddy. Under the post, under each thing that I'm about to mention, he's underneath there. And it's just like, I wish that the attention and the time, if he's American, if he's from here, because if he's African or if he's from somewhere else, then I can understand why he's trying to bring America in. But he's under a lot of African American posts. And so that's what made me think, that's what leads me to believe that he wants us to do something about what's happening in Congo, because we should care. And honestly, I do care. I just don't see what 10 people can do. You know what I'm saying? That 10 million people won't be able to do easy. Do we have to wait for that shit to happen? Maybe not. Maybe there are people in other places that can help. And if he just wants us to read about it and comment about it on Instagram, then I'm sure everybody can do that, because that's what everybody does anyway. But he would help more so if he actually posted footage on his page about what's going on in Congo, and you know, and just keep doing that. I think that is what he's doing. I'm going to check right now and see, but I think that's what he's doing. But I would love for him to just keep doing that. That's his, you know, that's how he's paying homage to, and that's what he's doing in Congo. You know what I'm saying? But I just need, and like I say, maybe he's trying to get people to deliver um, financial assistance or give financial assistance to the issue. But like, listen, I would love to see a person, because I'm not going to say an organization, because once you become an organization, there are all types of politics that go with that. But I would just like to see a person that's raising money in awareness, not just for stuff that's happening in Congo, but things that's happening in Palestine, and also the things that's happening here. People are hungry here. Black people are starving here. Black people are homeless here. And I would like to see more aid going to that place. I watched the movie, um, The Sound of Hope. And what the black pastor was actually trying to do was, since there was a lot of children that were, I don't think he really cared about whether or not they were black or not, but the majority of the children that they were receiving in that movie were from struggling black families whose parent either was addicted or they either had some form of abuse going on, but their parent was addicted to some type of substance or something, and they adopted those children, because we should be taking care of our children. We should be. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people. That's why it's good to have that camaraderie, because we shouldn't look to the enemy um, to take care of our kids, man. So that's why you have a white lady adopting a little girl, I think from Africa, and telling her to put the bag of sugar or rice or whatever it was on her head because it's in her DNA. It's not in our DNA. Asians do that too, and many other groups of people carry the weight on their head because they were smart enough to understand that um, their head and neck were strong, and so they just put it up there, and it kind of like balanced out the amount of weight versus carrying in a bag, you know, in the front of you or on the side of you or pulling it. That's intelligence. But anyway, um, we just have a lot of stuff that we have to focus on here. Mainly how we regard one another as Black people, indigenous folks, because that's the term that I like to use. Um, how we create, whether or not we're creating safe spaces for each other in our relationships, and rebuilding the family structure within the Black community. That is something that has to happen first before any of those other things can happen, because we're so divided that there's no cohesion unless we're trying to gather um, to support a politician, unless we're trying to gather to support a protest, and then after that we die down, and that's all we good for right now. And so um, a lot of people are, they probably, I posted some things on Instagram in reference to Puff Daddy, and I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. I wish that we was a little bit less vocal than we are, and I'm not saying less vocal because they're less vocal about Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein, so we shouldn't say anything. Um, Not only because of that, but each time we see something like that happen, when the shoe is on the other foot or the slope is slippery for the other people, they hurry up and buff it and sand it down so that it can be a slow walk downhill from that point on, instead of a slippery slide down. And what I mean by that is, you don't get people that's interviewed or asked questions about Harvey Weinstein or Jeffrey Epstein. You don't get that. We still don't know to this day what actually transpired. We do know that that Weinstein was soliciting or I'm not going to say soliciting sex, but he was requesting sexual favors for roles in movies or shit like that. We do know that Epstein was using his money and his power um, to have children be a part of his sexually, explicit, soirees or whatever you want to call it, and probably other people as well. But what we don't know is how those things transpired. You don't know what was done to these children. You don't know how it made them feel. And that's because even in their outing of these people, they still got like a form of conduct that goes on. Listen, we gonna say what he did, but we ain't gonna give you too much. All right. And it could be, a host of things. It could be that. It could be the fact that the victim is embarrassed to say, but I'm like, if y'all gonna speaking on something that happened to you and you are now ready to out it, you have to be confronted and convicted interpersonally, or you know what I'm saying, in order to come out and say what it is that you need to say about these people. And we're the public, we don't need to know, right? But I'm just saying it's the same thing with Puff Daddy. Like we are, everybody who has a platform is using this as a go-to cow. I'm so sick and tired of seeing it though. I'm tired of seeing it on Instagram. And as a matter of fact, if I see it on Instagram, I kind of like slide through it because I don't want the basis of what they told me he did is enough for me to be like, dang, he himself. You understand what I'm saying? Because he really did. Like I said before, you can't play the same games that those people play. You just can't. You can't play the games that they play because this is not your court. You know what I'm saying? America is not your court. This isn't your playground. Now you might get away with doing a couple of things, but that's about it. When it is time for the rabbit to be caught, you will be caught, skinned, and eaten. That is one thing we see. We saw it in every form. We saw it with Tiger Woods. You married a white woman, but when you cheated on her, they dragged your name to the dirt, and they kind of like you fell to the wayside. You understand what I'm saying? So anytime that happened, that's what's going on. All right. I mean, that's what's happening to me. I just don't feel like giving energy to this because much energy wasn't given to Epstein and Weinstein in their cases, and they are equally, if not bigger than Puff Daddy. They're bigger. They're bigger. For quadrillionaires, probably. You understand what I'm saying? So, um, we're gonna slide on and move right along from there. So I just, again, what he did was wrong, but I just hope we stop. I wish we stop entertaining the sources. I don't care if it's the Shade Room, the Mocha Shade Room, DL Hughley. It's time for them to understand that the public is tired of it now. Find something else to report on. You know what I'm saying? Let's not make Puff Daddy the big thing. You understand what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, he opened this can of worm on himself. So if there are entities that want to make it the big thing, that's fine. I'm just tired of it. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I'm saying about it. We can read it, we can look at it, but move right along. Because that's what they do. Move right along. That's why when you see or you hear about certain things, like we know that white folks have done some of the most heinous crimes in America, and we can go back to slavery alone. We don't have to do Jeffrey and Tom. What's that man's name again? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. No, the other. Well, him too. Nah, don't worry about it. But we don't have to do the Jeffrey Dahmers and the Charlie Mansons, and you don't even got to go that far. You can just go into slavery. That in itself was bad. They skinned people, they barbecued people, which means they burned them alive. They raped young women and children. You understand what I'm saying? They raped the men. Like we could just stay right there, but they are not looked at as thugs. Hell, this young man that I'm about to talk about next, Javion McGee, probably found himself in North Carolina in a no sun, in a sundown state, all right, or in a sundown area. And not really, he's only 21. So a lot of people a lot of youngsters that's 21 years old, they don't even know that this should exist because who's talking about it? Who's telling them about no sundown states or areas? within states, within cities, that a black person can't be caught in, because if they're caught there, they will end up hung to a tree or chopped up. Nobody's talking about that. Right here, I'm in New Orleans, right next door in Mississippi, that happened. A young man was found dismembered, his head severed, and his spinal cord found somewhere else, and all that kind of shit there. Y'all want us to believe that the young man was eaten by something, right? Well, what exactly? What ate him and then left his head and didn't eat his head? You understand what I'm saying? But the young man had several conversations with his mom, telling her that he was concerned for his safety because of the racially derogatory things that he was getting told while he was on the job. And he finally winds up dead, and we just say something ate him. Oh, same thing with this young man here. You understand what I'm saying? Now, they're saying that he went to Walmart and and so that's chakra. That's what I mean. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of stuff here that we have to figure out. We can't figure out why young men are turning up dead at parties. We can't find out why a young man was hung to a tree. And note that the rope that they say he hung himself with, because they say it was a suicide. While the lawyers are saying that it's still too early to determine the cause of death or rule it as a suicide without doing a thorough investigation. But I want to know how in the hell could somebody tie a rope around their neck 11 times? I mean, listen, when a person is determined to do something, they're determined. But I don't think that he would have. This was his first job on the road as a trucker, and his last job on the road as a trucker. I just don't see that as somebody who is um enthusiastic or hopeless about life. At 21 years old, he's a truck driver. By the time he's my age, he probably would have had a wonderful life, but we'll never know. And so, chakra, we still have some things that we need to take. The genocide is a slow one. It's a slow, progressive one, though. And it's one that, because people like yourself, and I'm gonna include myself in it, but this is my time now. This is my era. I had to go through everything that I went through in my life to get to the mindset and the point in my life that I am now. And unfortunately, you know, the lives of many Black people don't have time for slow movement. And that's why something has to be done now, because we're going to keep having a damn it. Now I'm scared. I done told my son when he gets out of the military, he can go and he should get his CDL and, start driving trucks and become an owner operator. But what if something like this happens? The risk factor is there, chakra. We are not safe here. We aren't safe. You can go to the doctor for anything and they'll give you medication, or the lack of excellent or superb service, because you're Black. Oprah did a segment about it. It's called how your zip code can determine your mortality rate, how long you live. You know what I'm saying? And that's just a fact. I'm not a fan of Oprah. You understand what I'm saying? But what she did was very, I like that. I like that. I like the fact that she called attention to that. And so those are one of the things that I would like to see Kamala or anybody that's high and have the momentum that she has talking about. I would like to hear them talk about that type of stuff. A lot of Instagrammers are like, what could Kamala do? What y'all want her to do? What the fuck you mean? What could she do? Excuse my French, she could do a lot. Hell, if she could do a lot as a regular politician, there's a lot that she could do. She doesn't have to only do things in her state. That's where she'll be more effective at. But showing the reason why the structure isn't there in politics with Black people is because the 10 Black people they know that they know that they're going to be by themselves if they try to talk and out. There needs to be some type of camaraderie so people can be a little bit more comfortable standing up to big government when it comes down to go to your cage or sit down, whatever you're going to do. You know what I mean? And so that's one of the things, but I'm not on Kamala yet. I'm on Javion McGee. All right. Because one of the things, I just don't, I find it very, 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 very pressing for us to sit here and act like we have everything figured out and we're okay here. We don't. We are at war, and we have been at war since the beginning of fucking time, since the abolishment of slavery, since before then, since slavery. When they came here, that's what that was. Every other country has that type of insight on what happened to them. Okay, one country came, waged war on them, conquered them. Some people fought back. 1808 in Haiti. Um, we just didn't fight back because we didn't have the means or even the knowledge that we were under attack. Hell, just like they learned from their experience in the past, we should have learned. They learned that you can't go into an enemy's territory being an enemy. We're gonna be their friend first. And every movie that you've seen, Flowers, Killers of the Flower Moon, I believe that's a story about Black people. All right. But Killers of the Flower Moon, they went in there, they act like they were friends, they act like they had so much that they wanted to help the people understand about the new written way, the new documents and the constitutional laws. They assigned a white person to them people. And basically, okay, this is how much we're saying your land is worth. All right. So we're going to give you this amount of credit in the bank. All right. And then you have to come to them because you don't understand the system. And so you need a white person to kind of like explain to you the system of how you take out money, how money is, how much money you have in there, what each coin or dollar amounts to. Now they didn't get that extensive in the movie, but if you're smart, you're gonna come to that conclusion because this is a system that these people are not used to. But anyway, they come in as friends when they really are full, and we just still haven't learned. And that's the same thing that's happening now. There's a generation of children that think this is a kumbaya place. That if you're Black, you can make it. You just gotta work and elbow grease it down, and you're gonna be okay. They do not understand that is not something that is liked, that is actually frowned upon. It's been that way since the Civil War between the North and the South. That's what it was basically about. Hey, we want to hold them as slaves. No, we need them because we see that they can contribute to the economy. Now, we don't have a problem with them coming where we at financially. We do have a problem with them surpassing us, though. So we want to make sure they stay right here. That's always been a thing. If you don't believe me, look it up and do your own research. Now, I just put you down because you farted, and I need you to stay down. No, go sit. Or go in your cage. Go in your bed. Go ahead. Oh, look at those eyes. I feel so sorry for you. You know what you're doing, huh? Yeah, Mama. I know you love me. I know you love me. Yeah, I know you love me. That is right there. I see it. That's the eggs. But anyway, no, go sit. Not your car. She interrupted me. Oh no. Let me see what's on your neck. Mm-hmm. Go. Go Banaya. Go Banaya. Go to your cage. 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 She's like a big baby. She's a lap dog. She's very spoiled. But anyway, so I really do hope, Chakra, this is not geared solely towards you, but it kind of is because I know you know the message. You're not a dumb person. You're very smart. And like I said, I'm not saying that we shouldn't render aid to those in need abroad in Congo or anywhere else. I just wish that the same attention and the same tenacity and the same determination that you have for that specific situation was something that was had here. And people always say, well, Black people ain't gonna do it. They're just not gonna do it. You know, they too this and they too that. And we gonna never come together and all that kind of stuff. And speaking like that is actually what is hindering us, because what you speak into existence, what you speak is what manifests. And so I practice saying that one day we will overcome the adversities of our government, and change things as a group of people. I see that for our future. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to sit here and see Javion McGee's, or someone else's name in place of his, or Kendrick Lamar Johnson, or Michael Brown. And these are the popular ones. What about the ones that aren't popular? The names that we don't know, the names that aren't household names because they're like sort of like martyrs, if you will. But the question is, what about them, right? So what did happen to this young man? And I really hope and pray that the family gets some kind of justice and figure it out or find out what happened to him. Because if I were the dad or the mom, I would feel really, really, really upset, really hurt, and by the fact that even the mom, I think a week apart or within the same week, there was a report of a young man I mentioned earlier in this video, in this stream. There was a young man who um, died at a party. The only white guy there, he died. I mean, the only black guy there, he died. They found his body in the backyard, and nobody said anything. See, that's that cohesion I was telling y'all about. They have one mindset when it comes to black folks, but we have two when it comes to them. All white people aren't like that. Well, it doesn't mean I have a friend. They don't. Nobody sees you like that. Prince Harry sees Meghan Markle and only Meghan Markle. He ain't seeing her as me. He ain't seeing you as her. The connection isn't there. All right. Now, I could be wrong because I never talked to him before. I don't know. But I'm giving his situation because this is my experience with him. I was around military. And listen, that's exactly how it was. The white woman loved her husband and her children, but she did not care too much for black folk. She never spoke to anybody black around in the apartment complex and probably in his family. I wouldn't know that for sure, though. I'm just only telling you how she treated other black women. And it wasn't just one, it was a couple of them. And like I said, I could be wrong because this is not a cookie cutter system. I'm not saying that all white folks hate black people, but the majority of them have a healthy disdain for us, no matter what, no matter how you feel. That's why you don't get that job. That's why you don't get called back. That's why your business card isn't picked up when you're the only company of your kind and it's needed. They would rather wait till somebody come from somewhere else and deal with you, or they'll do you at the last minute. But this is something that you go to your cage. This is something that we and I might have a bias because I'm black, and like I said, this is based off of my experience. All right, but justice for Javion McGee. I hope that all of the answers that his family is seeking. I hope they get it. And so let me just give you a little bit of the facts surrounding his murder. All right, or excuse me, I'm going to allege that that's his murder because I don't know. But this is a 21-year-old man, and as you guys may already know, this transpired. It took place in Henderson, North Carolina. On September 10th. On September the 11th, the victim was found sitting in a sitting position with a noose tied around his neck, a rope tied around his neck that was attached to the tree some kind of way. I tried to picture that several times, and I would have to see a picture. Now, what I don't like about this is they give a timeline, y'all, and I'm not really going to go into that. I started writing down, and then I realized this timeline doesn't matter. It does in a case, but it doesn't. So basically, the timeline shows when he dropped the load off at the Walmart distribution center. And then it shows when he went into the Walmart distribution center to make a couple of purchases. They say he purchased the blue rope. And then they show where he gets in the car. He stays idle for a couple of hours, 4 hours, I think they said, somewhere at a truck stop or whatever. Then he gets back in the car, goes back to Walmart, gets something else. As he was leaving from Walmart, he stopped and gave a homeless man $228 and said, if I had more, I would give it to you. And we really don't know if that's the truth or not. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I want to say that the young man was a very generous man. But the reason why I'm saying that that may not be truthful is because oftentimes when males commit suicide, they give away um, a lot of their tangible items. All right, they usually leave them behind, and so that's what it sounds like. That's what they're trying to make this be with this young man. But I just think if he did give him $200, he probably was generous. All right, like what's $200 if I'm making money? He's 21 years old. He probably has no kids, no bills, or whatever the case may be. All right, so um, he leaves from there, gives the guy some money somewhere on Vanco Mill Road in Henderson, North Carolina, which is a half a mile away from where the Walmart is. His body was found, but at that same in that same area. All right, they said that he drives northwest and he pulls onto Young Street with his truck. It idles there. And then at 5:53, he walks to a local, go to your cage. He goes to a local smoke shop. He's seen alone. And then at 6:21, he's in there by himself. At 6:01, he drives west on Andrews Avenue, which is so Vanco Mill and Andrews Avenue is like across like an intersection, I think. So he merged onto the interstate, and then 10 minutes later, he walked into Walmart and purchased, and this is the actual account. So what I said at first was before. And so 10 minutes later, he walked into a Walmart, purchased a blue rope at 6:22. He goes back to the truck stop before leaving the parking lot. All right. And so I'm going to read this. All right. And that's when he saw the homeless man at 6:22. He sees the homeless man and he gives the homeless man $228. And he tells him, if I had more, I would have gave it to you. And then he arrives at the Hampton Inn Hotel, all right, on Ruin Creek Road. And they tell him that they're booked. There's no rooms. All right. Now, listen, if you are in a racist part of town, they do shit like that. All right. So again, this young man sounds like he was unaware of where he was. And he wasn't told you're going to make this drop, but as soon as you make this drop, don't stay there. Drive as far away from Henderson, North Carolina, or get out of North Carolina, period. And I do know that like every 6 hours, a trucker has to rest 6 or 8 hours or something like that. So maybe he was within that period and needed to find some place to sleep. But man, I wish he would have just slept in his car or locked his shit up, slept in it, and got away because evidently somebody was watching it. All right. So he goes to the Hampton to see if he can get in there. They tell him they don't have any rooms. He can be seen parking at the back of the building and walking to the front of the hotel lobby. All right. That was at 6:28. So after they tell him that there's no rooms at 6:32, I think McGee at 6:35, which is 3 minutes later, his truck is turned back on and he leaves the hotel parking lot. Okay. Then McGee arrives at the same dirt lot. Remember I told you 285 Vanco Mill Road, which is where they found his body. He arrives back at that place where he was earlier in the day. He gets out of the truck. He walks towards the wood line on the eastern side of the dirt lot. And then he can be seen carrying something in his hand, according to the surveillance footage. All right. He then walks back around to the trailer of the truck, I guess, goes in the front gate of T&R Tractor and Trailer Repair, which is located on the same lot. And then he walks back to the wood line. So then McGee gets into his truck at 7 p.m., turns it on. He did not appear to have anything in his hand. When he got back to the truck, surveillance camera showed the truck is on and idling for the next half an hour. So it's 7. All right. So at 7:30, it's idling. All right. So at 7:30, his truck is turned off and he's seen walking alone away from the truck and towards the trees again. All right. And McGee is not seen walking back to the truck after that moment on September the 10th. And then on September the 11th at 10 a.m., the TR Tractor and Trailer Repair owner calls into 911 saying that there's a man with a rope around his neck tied to a tree. All right. And he's not breathing. Um, Lying next to McGee was the wrapper to the Walmart brand rope he purchased the day before. That's how investigators first identified McGee by taking the wrapper to Walmart in an attempt to identify who purchased it. And they were successful. After identifying McGee and that he was a truck driver, law enforcement went to McGee's truck parked at the dirt lot. Inside, they found McGee's wallet with his ID as well as his cell phone and a Walmart receipt for the rope. Law enforcement contacted McGee's father to let him know. Now, one of the things that seemed fishy was that they immediately ruled it a suicide. I mean, immediately. I wouldn't go to those limits, but they say that they have a rope next to him, the packaging, and I'm just thinking, if I was like, why take the rope to the tree? Like when you're in a state and you're gonna commit suicide, right? I want this to be as swift and fast as possible. Psychologically, I don't want anything to stop me or talk me out of it. So I'm gonna open that rope up before I get to the tree. I'm gonna open it up. It's gonna already be ready. But I still need them to explain how he tied the rope around his neck 11 times. All right. And then how convenient is the find that they find a package right next to the tree. And then they go in and they find a receipt. I mean, did he pay for it with cash or did he pay for it with his credit card? If he paid with cash, then, but again, that's why they're telling you that he gave the homeless man $228 because they want you to also know that he left cash or he had cash on him. All right. So 9 times out of 10, this receipt is not going to show a credit card purchase or ACA purchase. It's going to show a cash purchase for the road. All right. I'm just waiting to see how that flies out. I could be wrong. All right. But I just think that this is the weirdest little case here of somebody who is committing suicide. Usually they don't go to work. And if they do, they want to kill themselves somewhere where they're comfortable, where, just statistically speaking, most men who commit suicide it's planned. It's not spontaneous. It's planned and it's organized. And that's one of the things that I do know about it. And they don't do it for attention. It's going to get done. They're going to succeed. So we're going to wait to see what happens, how this case unfolds, because right now it ain't looking too good. And that came from WBTV, Channel 3 News. That's the source where its operation and functioning office is. I don't know. All right. So we're going to swipe past, respectfully, Javion McGee, and we're going to go to Janet Jackson. Now you might be saying, what did Miss Jackson do? Well, yesterday I was scrolling, or either the day before, I was scrolling my Instagram, which is where I get most of my stuff from, Instagram and X, formerly known as Twitter. And Janet, D.L. Hughley actually responded to this lady too. And from what I can gather from the friends that talk to me about it, he's trying to display her mental capacity as one that's equate to a nincompoop. And that just lets me know how smart. And this is not to bash DL, but when you have an agenda, you don't see things the way you need to see them. And that's all I'm going to say. I don't know if he's, clout chasing or if he's one of those, planted people that's put in the mix to make it seem like there's someone who cares, but he really don't care. Because listen, when I read Janet Jackson's response, the question was, what do you think about America possibly having their first female president and black female president, their second black female president, first black female president, something to that effect? And her response was, I don't know if she's black. Is she black? I mean, they said that she wasn't black. They said that her daddy was a white man, stuff like that, da da da. stuff like that. Well, Janet ain't crazy. I was happy when she came out and said it because I can remember when they did say it. All right, when so during the vice president campaign, all right, she campaigned as a black woman. No mix, no nothing. What we saw was what we got. She let us believe that she was black. She played on it. We voted for her. She's vice president. When she's at the inauguration or after the inauguration, during the announcements, someone said, this is the first Vietnamese woman to be vice president. I was like, Vietnamese. So I was like, damn, she was black all the way up until I said, so she Vietnamese and black now? And I must be the only person that remember this shit. Me and Janet. All right. Now, Janet, I don't know where her daddy being white come from, but I always did hear. And y'all know how, remember that little game y'all used to play back in the day where you whisper something, the secret in somebody else's ear, and they got to go all the way around. And then the last person will say what was said to her, and it'll always be different. That's pretty much what happened with Kamala. But they put out there that the lady was Vietnamese, the first Vietnamese, and then they changed it to Southeast Asian. I never heard that before. They always did say Kamala was Vietnamese. I Googled it. I was like, she Vietnamese? I was like, damn, wait a minute. During the time that they announced it. All right. And so we might think normal, because we just black people that's just thinking, right? And we may think, well, what does it matter if she's Vietnamese and black or Southeast Asian and black? What does it matter? She's still black. Well, I'll tell you why it matters and what does it matter. It doesn't matter that she's black, because if she was white, just like where Hillary was running against Trump, it's always to vote for the lesser of the evils. And then I realized that I could have possibly made a big fat fucking mistake, because right after that, I ran across a video like a year or two later that had the Clintons' name wrapped in a very, very, very high sex scandal, like a child trafficking sex scandal. I wish I could find a video, but I think it was on YouTube. And as y'all know, as quick as shit is posted on YouTube, depending on who you are, you can get that shit removed really quick, real quick. And that's what, you probably can find it, but there's this mystery politician, this mystery man that has a lot of money. When he showed the video, he was probably in his early to mid 40s, tall, slender, athletic white man, athletic built white man. He's the person that funded these charities. And so this little snippet was breaking down the charities and what they meant. And if it was the symbol for the boys and it was blue, that meant that was a venue for men that was seeking boys. If it was a symbol for boys and it was pink, that was the females that were seeking young boys. Same thing for the girls. Females seeking young females, girls, or males seeking young female girls. And vice versa. There was all these codes with the triangle and what it meant. It actually broke down all that kind of stuff, but it tied them in there. And this video had some facts that was, that was going around that, it was just something that got your thinking wheel spinning. You know what I mean? And so what I meant by I almost made a mistake was the world is already full of child pedophiles in high places, whether y'all want to acknowledge it or not. That's why the school system is turning the way it's turning with this crazy stuff that it's got going on. And so there's that. And I'm not saying Kamala's affiliated with any of that. I'm just saying, there was almost a mistake made. But like I said, it's always about voting for the lesser of the two evils. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to put somebody in office that's going to do something detrimental to a group of people, no matter if it's a group of children, no matter if it's a group of black people, no matter if it's a group of Mexicans, whatever the case may be. You just don't want to put somebody in office that has a racial bias. You don't, because this is a melting pot of a world we live in here in America. This society is full of different people. And I would like to see the day one day when we get a politician or somebody that cares enough to put what's happening in the forefront of it all, on the forefront of it all. I mean, put it in the eyes and make it something that's in the mouths or on the tongues of everybody, not just the people of America, but the politicians. It's time for us to not take and accept what they've been doing to us for all these years. That's it. But anyway, back to Janet. So D.L. Hughley responded the way he did, based off of Janet's thing. And what she said was, like, is she black? Like, I don't want to call somebody black if they don't want to call themselves black. That's basically what she's saying. Not only that, if you scrolled, I think the Shade Room had posted it, but if you scrolled, to the last slide, you'll see that the interviewer also asked her, well, do you think Kamala will bring forth change? And she said, I don't know. I just don't know. So let me spin that off for you guys, okay? In a very classy and ladylike way. Here's what Janet said, basically. Is she black? Does she identify as a black woman? Because I don't think she does. So is it fair for us to put her in that slot there? Number one. And just because she's black does not mean that she's going to deliver change within the politics of how things are done. Because time and time again, you see, you vote, and it doesn't happen. So I can't say that just because she's a black woman that we're going to see change, if in fact that's what she is representing herself as. And let me just go back and piggyback on that a little bit more. Like I said, when we saw Kamala during her vice presidential campaign and election, when she was elected as the vice president, when we saw her as a black woman because that's what her physical attributes, that's what her characteristics looked like. She looked like a black woman. So there was no need for us to know whether or not she was Mexican and black, Croatian and Jamaican. We didn't need to know what kind of black she was. But somebody, a part of her team, thought that it would be great to put that out there. I think, in my opinion, because I need to let them know, hey, listen, I am black, but I ain't that kind of black. I ain't the regular black. Hold up, dinner. And so us black folks, we want to rally against Kamala. And there's nothing wrong with that, y'all. But what are y'all going to do when y'all are so wrong? You understand? Because I might vote for her, to be honest with you. And I'm not certain that change is going to come because of that, because of my decision to vote for her or put her in the presidency. I don't know if that's something that's going to promote change. No more than you guys do. So stop sitting around here acting like black folks don't have anything to worry about because it's a black woman in office that's running. Has she been black for the last couple of years? This is something that we all need to be worried about because we can literally vote. We have two bad candidates for presidency. You understand what I'm saying? And people might say, what makes her so bad? Anybody that has aided in the imprisonment of black men by making harsher rules or laws surrounding that fact, to me, is doing a disservice. You're taking a daddy out of a home, you're taking a husband out of the support network for the children and for the wife. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't like it. I've watched a whole bunch of documentaries where young black men at the prime of their lives, 19, 21, back in the 70s and 60s or early 80s, early 90s, that were subject to lethal injection, based off of a crime that couldn't prove whether or not they did something or not. Nobody thought that this was enough of a problem. Go to your cage. Now, if you don't go in your tent, I'm gonna lock your ass up. Go ahead. Shoot. Spoil self. But that's one of the things that concern me, y'all. Like I'm going an hour long, but that's what concerns me. Like I don't need somebody that's only focused on black people, but I do want somebody that's focused on black people and what's happening, because what's happening, what has happened, I need somebody to develop the truth and start telling it. And when I say develop the truth, I don't mean develop it like make it up like they did. I mean research it and develop a itinerary where you can go down the line and show people, hey, this is what we've been told, but this is proven to be a lie based off of these documents that I myself have gotten, because my hands can touch something that other people outside can't. That's what I'm waiting for. That's when I believe in politics again. But right now, where I stand as a black woman with black male children and black children, period, black family, I don't see that. Should we give up hope? No. Should we not vote for Kamala? Absolutely not. She's the only hope that we really have. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that I just want to say here is that we have to stop trying to act like she didn't have a problem with her ethnicity, because if she didn't, none of that shit would have been. Who would have known? Nobody would have gave a shit if she was. If y'all don't think somebody inside for her had done that, then something is wrong with y'all. If y'all don't think her PA put that out there, or her campaign manager, somebody did that. Because other than that, there was no reason, and she is not out of the loop when it comes down to things pertaining to that. She's not. So y'all can sit up here and be in a situation where y'all are, again, and like I said, we have become a group of people, Americans, but black people especially, that don't think about anything or don't know anything until somebody tell us what to think or what to believe. I hate that for us. I really do. We went from a prestigious people that had a lot of integrity, that was smart and intelligent, that was innovative and coming up with ideas and contributing to civilization, to the non-thinkers of the world. And that shit just bothers me, because we act like we can't think. You can't get mad because somebody, obviously, this is how it works. I'm not going to come out and say I'm not black. I'm actually Southeast Asian and Jamaican. That's what I am. I got people to do that for me. That's how this shit works. I'm not about to come out there and say it so that I can lose the black vote. I'm going to leave it to conspiracy, to conspirators. So people, it's like the aliens. You don't know if they're real or not. That's what she's doing. I'm going to leave it out there for people to say, maybe somebody put that out there about her. But, we've been trying to figure out for years, what's her name? Tandy? I can't remember that. She played in Crash with Terrence Howard, and she also played in 007 with Tom Cruise one time. I'm still trying to figure out. She looks black, even though she has fine hair. She definitely looks black. She's definitely a black woman. But when asked, what are you mixed with? You know what I'm saying? She tells them she's not going to answer that question. At least in the past, that's what she said. She doesn't answer those types of questions. I've seen it in the interview. She won't answer it because, and it's not to say I don't want to admit that I'm black. Why do I have to answer that question? What I look like? That's what I am. So I respect her for at least that much, even if that wasn't the intent. I respect her for not answering that question, not putting an ethnicity or not separating herself from the rest of black people, because that's what it seemed like. I ain't really all the way black, but don't I look it and I claim it? I am indigenous. You understand what I'm saying? We got people from Trinidad, Jamaican, and all that kind of shit mixed up in here. But when people ask, what am I am labeled as an African American who adopted the term indigenous, because I can't call myself an African American, because an African American is associated with getting on a ship and coming over here and being placed here. I am indigenous because I know the truth. I know that my people were already here before the colonizers came here. And that is why you have so much of history lost, because that part of the truth they don't want you to know. They don't want it to be easily found. All right. So that's all I got on Kamala. Like, stop, Kamala. I mean, stop helping her for her when she don't want your help. She don't need it. She don't need your help. That's like when Tiger Woods say he don't eat fried chicken. Y'all, none of y'all ain't come to that man's aid and say, well, I'm black and I don't eat fried chicken. Shit, they got black people that don't eat barbecue chicken. Could you believe that? But nobody came to his aid and said that man ain't gotta eat chicken. He's still black. And Tiger Woods also was one that denounced being black publicly. He put it on certain platforms. I'm not black. I don't even like chicken. Boy, your damn daddy was black. Okay? That's like Mayor Mark Morial saying he ain't black. Your daddy was black, sir. And you look it. So, in case you don't know, this is a society that goes off of your characteristics rather than your bloodline, what's in your DNA. So if you look black, you're black. Hence, that's why Mariah Carey and Alicia Keys are black women. They've been accepted on that side. They weren't shunned. They weren't looked down upon. They were accepted. So y'all better let Kamala be who Kamala is and let Kamala do what Kamala does and stop trying to put y'all neck on a chopping board. And I hate that too. We put our neck on a chopping board for everything except for things that fucking matter. You know what I'm saying? Right now, Javion McGee's name should be on everybody black posts because we need to be showing the world that we trying to intercede. That's what I'm saying though. But we gonna give efforts to, the people in Congolese over what's happening over here. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't. I'm just saying that it's a dual effort. You should do, hey, if you got $100, 50-50 that way. You know what I'm saying? 50 here, 50 there. Take $50 and send it to Congo, and then take a family that's homeless that you see. I'm talking about real homeless people. I'm not talking about those people that just left because they wanted to free themselves of societal ways of existing, and bills and all that shit was just a formality and a system of blah, 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 blah. I'm talking about real homeless people. Real homeless people. Like, they have enough of us, you know what I'm saying? But again, we are all mushed up and mashed into our own lives and the problems that lie within it. But if we're going to take the time out and use our public spaces that we have, no, go sit down. If we're going to take the time out to address things, then we need to be addressing things that's happening to us here in this country. Because the more we ignore it, the worse it's getting. We're saying, listen, do y'all not know what state of devastation we're in right now? We don't have a military. The government does not support us. We don't have our own government. We don't have our own doctors. You understand what I'm saying? We don't have anything in the agriculture field. More people are starting farms, but you got people that's been here since the first set of colonizers. Those are the families that have those farms. You know what I'm saying? And such. You know what I mean? And we just don't have the means right now to distribute all over like that. So everybody, in a sense, has to become their own agriculture expert and start planting their own shit, because the food that we eat is bad. And where do they put majority of the bad food at? In predominantly black neighborhoods. Y'all see pink meat every day. And swear to God, if some of y'all grew up with y'all grandfathers on a farm, like back in the day, if he cut off the leg of a dang on cow and cut it into steaks, that meat will not be pink. It will turn brown within a matter of hours. All right? Minutes. Just fresh game. They have cyanide on our meat. You understand? That's what give it that pink, fresh look. You can wipe that shit off all you want. It's embedded in there. All right? Now, does it have an effect on, because a lot of people say, well, we cook that off. We cook it. We got to cook it, right? Anything over 200 degrees kills mostly everything. It does, but what doesn't it kill? Something's happening. Damn children growing up sexier than ever. You can't tell me they don't have hormones and shit in chicken that's cooked, that's being transferred to the systems of our children. That's why they're overdeveloped. You understand? So I don't, I'm not sure what or how we're gonna get these people on board, or how we're gonna get on board. Like I told y'all in several different, videos or streams, I'm okay with us if we got 1 billion black people and only 250,000 are on the wave with the movement, then the rest of them they're gonna have to stay where they're at and be the slaves that they are. But that's how it starts. That's how it starts, man. It has to start somewhere and it has to take place. You know what I'm saying? I don't want my grandchildren or great grandchildren to grow up in a world. If I had to imagine what this place will be like in 20, 30 years from now, it probably will be something equivalent to the Hunger Games. Or we'll probably be in a state of existence where there is an annual purge. You understand what I'm saying? Because Donald is trying to get that shit together right now. I don't understand how y'all don't see that. Like, that whole ear shit, and then he gets up from the podium and says, "Fight, fight, fight." Y'all don't know what the fuck? Fight for what? Who are you fighting? Somebody just shot you, dude. So who are you telling these people to fight? Why are you encouraging them to fight? What fight are they fighting? What fight are they fighting? You figure it out. You think about it. That's what you do. I still remember when he was running for president the first time. There's a tradition where not only the people who support that presidential candidate, but the opposing, the people who don't support him, all right, they also attend these rallies. And there was this girl, she was a heavyset girl. I'll never forget it. I don't know if she had on a hoodie. That part is jog, but I remember her being a heavyset girl, a thick, a puffy girl. And she was leaving the place, and as she was leaving, they were throwing cups, they were throwing cold drink soda cans and spitting on it and everything. Never once did he get on that podium and say, "This is not what I'm about. This isn't what I want from y'all." No, he let it persist all the way until that young lady left. And I pray and I hope that she made it home safe. All right, because this was where the real racist people were. They came out. They always come out. And then again, when a 30-something-year-old black male got beat up by an 84-year-old man and his son or grandson or nephew over there, there ain't no fucking way in the world that was an even match, and grandpa shouldn't have had a bunch of broken bones and missing teeth. You know why he didn't have a bunch of broken bones and missing teeth? Because he was at a racist rally and he understood where he was at. So I'm going to take these little punches, I'm going to report it, and then I'm going to leave. That's what happened. Nothing different. That's absolutely the case. But we want to sit around and act like we don't understand what's happening and what's going on. So as long as y'all stay asleep, this is going to occur. All right. And we're going to move that apart. So that's all I wanted to say about Janet Jackson. She handled that in a classy way. She said what she said without actually saying what she said. Even if she didn't say or mean it that way, that's the way I perceived it. And many other people probably. But a lot of people that I know also perceived it that way. But I just want to let y'all know that we can stay asleep if we want to. You're not going to be able to be mad at anybody but yourselves at the end for not coming together. And then, like I told my sister yesterday, unfortunately, that's when we're going to understand that we have to start banding together when we're at a very, very desperate need and very desperate time of survival, unfortunately. And that's just the way the cookie gonna crumble, because we have all the signs. Black people are continually getting rich, and nobody's saying to their partner next door that is equally, yoked, not their husband, not their wives, but the partner, the business establishment that's right next door, the person that they know that they can touch on that level. Nobody's talking to them and saying, "Hey, we need to come together. You are your brother's keeper, man. You got to take care of you." We are basically in a state of existence where we don't have, and we don't care about those that don't have. And then we have to go and ask the enemy for things that we need to survive, because we don't have enough of care for each other, that we start programs that would allow us to aid as well as get paid back for some of the things that we do, because that also is something that's here. You don't have to totally ignore what's going on, but we do because it's easy. It's easy for me to ignore what's going on because I don't want that to affect the livelihood of my family. I don't want that to affect my money. So that's what we do. And then, like Puff Daddy, turn a blind eye to a lot of shit. Now you are at the root of at the same people. You are at the foot of the same people, begging and needing them to support you in some type of way. But you don't have the support because number one, you were wrong, and number two, those people dropped you on your head just like they would do. Is Listen, it's been present in every aspect of my life. I've experienced it. The military, them people get with you, they deal with you, they love you. Um, I ain't gonna say they love you, but they tolerate you until the time for them to replace you has come. All right, and that's what they do. Don't you get up there? Why don't you go in your cage? Go. So that's all I wanted to say about that. If anybody knows anything about the young man who was found dead at a party when he was the only black person that attended that party, if y'all know his name or any type of information in that regard, let me know. Comment underneath here, let me know. But if not, oh well, that is the end of this segment. And like I said, this is about. I just hope that we start holding people accountable. Hold Kamala accountable. She's in a seat now. These aren't the same times as they were 10 years ago or 10 years before that or 10 years before that. This is 2024 and it's getting ruthless. It's getting worse. All right. So we need a politician. We need a president that's going to start, because I think a lot of people in her position feel like I can't just talk about or address things that are happening to the black community. Well, fuck, we need somebody that's going to talk about it. We need somebody that's going to be direct. We need somebody that's going to be, unpolished and just as ugly as the truth is with American citizens. You understand what I'm saying? You can do whatever you want once you get voted in, but we need somebody, because I can imagine if she was talking, oh, we got to start doing this. We have to see why is this happening in this county? Why is this happening in this city, in this state? What is going on? If she get on the platform, at one of her presidential rallies and start talking like that, then she won't have any support, because even white folks, the ones that support Kamala, they don't really give a shit about what's happening to black folk either. They don't. They don't. Some of them do. Maybe 3% of white folks, but a lot of people don't give a shit about black folks. We don't even give a shit about what's going on. That's why I'm telling Chakra, we got to turn some of that ignorance into reality, into revelation, and start revealing what's happening, what has been happening, and what we are prepared to do around the truth of the matter. That's all. That's all I'm saying. And that's what we need. Shit, we gonna get it. We don't get it. So that's the end of this Let's Talk segment. I probably get on tomorrow. I'm gonna try to be consistent as long as I'm in here and I have the time to do it. I'm gonna try to come up there. Last but not least, because I see this is on here. I did mention about the CEOs leaving or resigning from their position. I don't want to talk about that too much because I don't know what's going on. But I do want to. I challenge everybody to start thinking, start searching for what could possibly be going on. All of these people simultaneously just resign from their positions. Like, that is weird. Like, that's real weird. But this is a message for Kamora Lee Simmons. All right. I don't know what her intentions were behind posting or adding Uncle Russ on her Instagram account. But let me just pause you right there, sis. You can't feel like you was abused in any circumstance because it just didn't seem that way. You didn't seem like you were a part of nope, no, sit, sit. You didn't seem like you was a part or even amidst a group of women that was sexually assaulted. All right. And I'm just saying that because for years you was married to this man, you gave him kids. And then on top of that, your daughter, I think who is 19 or either 21, turns around and kind of like goes beyond you. You know, they always say our children, you know, does do things. They have some of our attributes, the good ones. They're either 10 times better at those attributes that we give them, or they're 10 times worse, you know, than what we gave. You know what I'm saying? I can't remember how that little saying go, but you know, your kids do you better. They do a better, they do it bigger and better. Or they'll go lower or lowest, you know. And one of the things that I see is that your daughter is following suit. I mean, not too long ago, I think 4 or 5 months ago, she was viral on Instagram because she was seen in another country on a vacation with an 83-year-old man. You can't tell me you didn't teach that to your daughter. You understand what I'm saying? Whether and see, people be like, well, nobody teaches their daughters stuff. They just listen. They learn subconsciously. So if I have a string, if I got a 4-year-old daughter, and from the age of 4 to about 17 years old, she been seeing niggas like just, I mean, randomly come in and out my door like every hour on an hour for 12, 13 years of her life. And I'm quite sure I'm going to conduct myself in a certain manner. She's going to pick up on those mannerisms. And we keep acting like children are dumb. Like they don't know something until we show them something. And that is really not the case. Sometimes they have a very vague understanding of something until we show them something. All right. It's instinctual for children and adults today. You think about when you were small, you knew that this thing between your legs did something other than piss and shit. You just knew it was meant for something else. I did. What though? I didn't know. All right. Until I watched a movie with a sex scene in it. And then I was like, oh, that's what. And so those, thoughts manifest. The good thing about the innocence of a child is that they don't dwell like adults do on one part of their life, on one moment, on one memory of their lives. They go to sleep and they wake up fresh the next morning. Unless it has something to do with asking daddy for the money that you said you needed to buy, the apples for school or the muffins or whatever it is the case may be, but their memory doesn't work like ours. It's real sharp and keen now, don't get me wrong. But they just don't dwell or harp on situations. I know because, again, I was a kid. But if you introduce sex to a child at a young age, then that is a seed that is planted and it will grow wild if there is no guidelines or no guidance in that category. And I think, that's what's happening. That's what has happened with Kimora Simmons' daughter. Like, okay, you probably was 15 when you met Russell and he was 30 something. Your daughter just took that shit to another level. She's 19 or 20 and this man is 83 years old. He damn near 100. But money is the motive. And so can she sit down now and say that I was forced to go on this vacation with this guy because he's older than her and it wasn't consensual? No, she cannot. No more than you trying to allude to the fact that Uncle Russ did some shit like that to you, Kimora. No, that's not what happened. You saw money, you went big, so you wouldn't have to go home. And you stayed and you went big. And because you went big with Russ, you got a nice home. You started your little baby fat shit and other things that you probably have going on, but you lived a lavish life. So I don't respect you and women like you jumping on board with what's going on right now because you're not a victim and you don't get to sit in the victim's throne. Like, I'm not even gonna say throne. You just don't get to hang out with the victims in this party. You know what I'm saying? Um, because we're not gonna sit up here and act like there wasn't a moment in time where men were actually grooming women to be their wives at a young age, and then when they became legal, tender age of 18, they married, and that was something that was happening back in your day with us. And if you was a minor, we know for sure that your parents had to sign for you to get married to them. So we're not gonna say that's the case, but I don't know where you was going there with that. But the rest of the world thought that you was hinting something like that because of what's going on with Diddy and the other people that are kind of tagging other people, in it that did it. We thought you was following the trend, and I'm here to tell you, you take it down, Mo, because you don't fit in that. And I'm quite sure there's a storyline or a group of women that you can go ahead on and consolidate or kind of like band together, and you can even support some of these women that's been through some things, but you shouldn't try to add to the collection because that wasn't you. And so that's all I have to say about that. This has been an hour and 25 minutes and 59 seconds. Thank y'all for tuning in and watching it if you watched it that long, and see you next time.